How did a Hutt crime lord defeat a squad of Imperial Special Forces? When you think of a Hutt, it's likely you tend to imagine a slobberish, greedy, slug-like creature that can barely move. They get their violent-natured underlings to do their dirty work for them. Well, not so much for this Hutt. Avid Jedi artifact collector and crime lord Grakkus the Hutt, equipped with 8 cybernetic legs, took on the battles himself. And that's what he did on the day Imperial forces invaded Grakkus' gladiatorial arena on the Hutt home planet of Nar Shaddaa. Just a few weeks after the destruction of the first Death Star, Luke Skywalker had journeyed to Nar Shaddaa in search of finding a pilot to take him to Coruscant. Before he could find one, the local leader Grakkus the Hutt found him, imprisoned him, and forced him to fight in his arena for entertainment. But Vader would soon discover Luke was there, and sent a squadron to retrieve him. Grakkus, in order to keep his place as leader in the crime hive of Nar Shaddaa, was forced to fight. This is that story. The once staunch and posing Hutt was now on the move. His metallic legs, which looked somehow thin, tinkered across the sand of the fighting pit. Grakkus confronted his once trusted arena trainer, the Game Master, now revealed to be the undercover Imperial spy lieutenant, Creel. There was nowhere for Grakkus to escape. Although it was his arena, he was now flanked by armed TIE fighter pilots on all sides. The Empire was here for Luke and the Hutt's collection of Jedi relics. Though cornered, the Hutt remained defiant. He knew the now very riled-up crowd still demanded a death in the pit, and considering the ownership of the arena they were standing in, suddenly, favor fell foul of Creel. Just as defiantly, Creel nonchalantly raised his blaster pistol. Not only did he have numerous targets on him, this one was the most effective, as Grakkus admitted to have foolishly trusted the spy. But the Hutt had tricks up his sleeve. Though he trusted Creel, he never divulged all his secrets to him. As soon as he gave a protocol command, the light already blocked by Grakkus' body grew into a sonic blast. Soon the entire arena was alight with electricity. It was an electromagnetic pulse that rendered all blasters totally useless. Creel knew what was about to happen. As his fellow Imperials looked around, dumbfounded and defeated, he suggested they fall back now. One unlucky TIE fighter pilot, after uttering, "We don't need blasters to take down one fat, old," was met with Grakkus' wrath before even finishing his sentence. They were about to learn the hard way that Grakkus was not like other Hutts. As he grabbed the offending pilot and pulled his body through the air, the Hutt detailed how powerful he really was.
"You should have warned them, Game Master. Now they'll learn the hard way."
The most dangerous thing in Grakkus' arena isn't some savage beast or mindless monster. It's Grakkus. The crowd was now fired up more than ever before. As their jeering and hollering formed another barrier around the pilots, the Imperials in the pit desperately scrambled. There were no comms, no weapons. The EMP had shorted everything out of use. As Grakkus threw his enemies around, the TIE fighter pilots went flying overhead in a very different way than they were used to. And Creel realized another thing the EMP would have shorted out: the shock collar that was keeping Congo the Disemboweler down. Suddenly, the huge beast, once lying in the sand, incapacitated, a few feet away, now sprung into action, with an almost earthquake effect. In all the fervor Luke Skywalker, captured by the Empire, attempted to make a run for it. As his heels started to kick up nearly as much dust and sand as Congo's, 2 keen-eyed TIE fighter pilots accosted him. This was a time when he would actually prefer not to be known as a Jedi. In all the chaos, Creel managed to escape Grakkus' wrath. The Hutt was still busy proving his power by hurtling Imperial soldiers through the air and crushing their bucket heads. Creel instead came face to face with Skywalker. Having trained Luke for the battle in the arena, the spy seemed to actually grow a slight attachment to the rebel, looking out for him when the opponents stacked up, and although he claimed he was training Luke to die, he had still taught him a great useful deal of lightsaber combat training. But Creel's true mission was to bring him to Darth Vader. Amidst the smoke, dust, and sand circling the two in the middle of this battle, while soldiers, a Hutt, and a huge beast sought to kill each other, Luke bravely ignited his lightsaber, ready to fight. Sadly, it was no match for Creel. The connection they had had as trainer and trainee proved to have just been surface level. As Luke's attack was met with the Imperial spy's fist, Creel had no problem taking down Skywalker. Being his combat trainer, he knew every move Luke was about to make. Skywalker once again collapsed into an explosion of sand. Creel made his goal clear. He was taking him to a cell on a Star Destroyer orbiting above. A cell with Skywalker's name on it. As the spy proudly towered over Luke, he was suddenly whipped up into the air. It was Grakkus. In the Hutt's mind, Luke was his. The Hutt's reptilian hand squeezed tight around Creel's neck. The spy gasped for air. While the crime lord detailed how he planned to kill the traitor, Creel clocked on to a way out. Grakkus proudly wore a necklace of lightsabers around his neck. As Creel slowly reached out to grab one, he swiftly wriggled out of the Hutt's grasp. Yanking a weapon from Grakkus' chain, Creel ignited the lightsaber in a flash of electric blue and cut through the Hutt's robotic legs as metal parts went flying. Unbalanced, Grakkus hit the ground, causing a small tidal wave of dust to engulf the nearby TIE fighter pilots. His rolls of fat, slobber, and grease all dragged toward the ground in gravity's harsh push. As the dust around him settled, his open mouth displaying a protruding tongue and dripping saliva, denoted that the great crime lord may never return to his former, unchallenged glory. His eyelids started to close. The exceptional Hutt was finally tamed. Grakkus' huge Jedi archive of artifacts would be of great use to the Empire. Though people never really knew the real reason for his interest in the Dying Order, Darth Vader didn't care. As the stormtroopers piled into the archive, Grakkus remained tamed and handcuffed. He had been stopped, which would inadvertently aid the Empire's allies soon. Luke was free.